In the 1970s, vans transformed from utilitarian workhorses into icons of personal freedom and self-expression. As America emerged from the counterculture movement, the van became a blank canvas for individuality, part art project, part escape pod. Affordable models like the Ford Econoline, Dodge Tradesman, and Chevy G-Series gave ordinary people the freedom to customize their rides with paint, plush interiors, and chrome accessories. The van embodied the open road spirit, merging the DIY ethic of hot rodding with the liberated attitude of the sexual revolution. Popular slogans like, "If this van's a rockin', don't come a-knockin'," perfectly summed up the decade's mix of humor, hedonism, and independence that fueled the custom van explosion. The 1970s custom van movement emerged from late 1960s post-hippie and surf cultures that valued freedom and non-conformity. Inspired by the Volkswagen microbus, Americans modified larger vans like the Ford Econoline, Chevrolet G-Series, and Dodge Tradesman. Cheap, spacious, and simple, they became DIY canvases for self-expression, transforming from utility vehicles into rolling symbols of individuality and countercultural creativity on America's open roads. The big three automakers in the 1970s custom van boom. The 1970s custom van explosion was driven by America's big three automakers, Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge. What began as utilitarian vehicles for tradesmen quickly evolved into rolling expressions of freedom, individuality, and countercultural flair. The Ford Econoline, Chevrolet G-Series, and Dodge Tradesman became the backbone of this movement, offering the affordability, mechanical simplicity, and spacious interiors that inspired a generation of do-it-yourself customizers. These vans provided the perfect foundation for a cultural phenomenon that blended performance, art, and personal expression. Ford Econoline, from workhorse to icon. First introduced in 1961, the Ford Econoline entered its second generation in 1968, right as van customization was taking off. Its flat sides, boxy silhouette, and strong body-on-frame construction made it an ideal blank canvas. With engines ranging from the 240 cubic inch inline-six to the 351 cubic inch V8, the Econoline combined reliability with customization potential. Van builders loved its mechanical simplicity, which allowed easy engine swaps, performance upgrades, and endless exterior artistry, from metallic flake paint to mural-style airbrushing. Custom touches like bubble windows, sunroofs, and plush interiors transformed this once humble Econoline into a mobile lounge. Recognizing the trend, Ford introduced trims like the Club Wagon, featuring windows, carpeted interiors, and comfortable seating. This fusion of practicality and leisure appeal made the Econoline a cornerstone of the van craze, equally suited for contractors or carefree road trippers. Chevrolet G-Series, power and street attitude. Chevrolet's G-Series vans, built from 1964 onward, became synonymous with muscle and performance. The third generation, launched in 1971, adopted a front-engine layout and longer wheelbase, improving safety and space. Customizers loved the G-Series for its muscle car DNA. It could pack the same engines as the Camaro or Chevelle, including the 350 and 400 cubic inch V8s. This raw power turned many G-Series vans into street cruisers, outfitted with chrome pipes, raised suspensions, and mag wheels. These vans dominated show van competitions in magazines like Trunkin', often flaunting intricate paintwork, velvet interiors, and booming sound systems. Chevrolet's vast parts network and simple mechanics made it a DIY favorite, transforming the G-Series into a symbol of 1970s automotive rebellion and swagger. Dodge Tradesman, the custom king. Launched in 1971, the Dodge Tradesman became the ultimate customizer's dream. With its boxy design, expansive side panels, and options ranging from the slant 6 to the massive 440 cubic inch V8, it offered unmatched creative freedom. Dodge leaned into the craze, advertising bright colors like sunburst yellow and candy apple red, encouraging owners to personalize. Tradesman vans frequently featured shag carpeting, mirrored ceilings, murals of wizards or dragons, and onboard minibars, the hallmarks of the decade's shagwagon culture. By mid-decade, the tradesmen ruled van shows and van-in festivals nationwide. Its bold design and mechanical versatility crowned it the quintessential icon of the 1970s van movement. The supporting cast: GMC Vandura and Ford Club Wagon. Other models like the GMC Vandura and Ford Club Wagon expanded the lifestyle van market. The Vandura offered upscale styling and later achieved fame as the A-Team's vehicle, while the Club Wagon catered to families and campers seeking factory comfort with custom flair. Together, they proved that vans were no longer just tools of the trade. They were the vehicles of self-expression, freedom, and the open road. The customization boom from garages to industry. By the early 1970s, the custom van scene had evolved from a fringe hobby into a full-fledged subculture, and eventually an industry in its own right. What began with a few creative mechanics and free-spirited drivers tinkering in garages soon exploded into a national phenomenon. Across the United States, independent customizers, aftermarket manufacturers, and van clubs transformed ordinary cargo haulers into the most flamboyant form of self-expression on four wheels. The custom van became not only a means of travel, but a symbol of identity, artistry, and rebellion. Independent garages led the charge. Small workshops in California, Texas, and the Midwest became hubs for experimentation, offering specialized bodywork, custom paint, and interior conversions. Among the early pioneers were Bill Stropit Associates, known for high-performance builds that merged off-road capability with aesthetic flair. Moon Equipment Company, famous for racing parts and custom accessories that appealed to the van crowd, and California Street Vans, which turned out some of the most eye-catching designs on the West Coast. These craftsmen elevated customization to an art form, installing porthole windows, flared fenders, and chrome side pipes that defined the 1970s van aesthetic. The aftermarket parts industry exploded to meet demand. Brands such as Krager supplied stylish mag wheels that became a visual trademark of custom vans, while Thrush produced the deep rumbling side pipes that gave these vehicles their signature growl. J.C. Whitney, a mail-order giant, distributed thousands of accessories, everything from bubble skylights to chrome mirrors to carpet kits and even swivel seats. These companies democratized customization, enabling ordinary van owners to personalize their vehicles without needing professional help. The trend blurred the line between professional craftsmanship and do-it-yourself creativity, reinforcing the era's hands-on ethos. One of the defining features of this boom was the interior transformation of vans. Unlike hot rods or muscle cars, which emphasize speed and performance, custom vans focused on comfort, mood, and imagination. Owners installed shag carpeting, paneled walls, insulated ceilings, and modular furniture to create cozy, often decadent mobile living spaces. The interiors often featured reclining seats, minibars, CB radios, and advanced sound systems complete with 8-track players and amplifiers. Some designs were themed: medieval dungeons with faux stone panels, psychedelic lounges with neon lighting, or romantic hideaways, complete with mirrored ceilings and plush upholstery. This combination of craftsmanship, creativity, and a touch of excess gave the 1970s custom van its unmistakable character. As the movement grew, customization kits became widely available. Companies sold pre-cut carpet panels, fiberglass fender flares, and do-it-yourself mural stencils that allowed anyone with a few tools and imagination to participate. These kits made van customization more accessible than ever, helping it spread beyond the coastal subcultures that birthed it. By 1975, what had started as garage experimentation had turned into a nationwide industry worth millions, feeding car shows, magazines, and an entire ecosystem of suppliers and enthusiasts. The boom was also deeply social. Van shows and van-ins emerged across the country, blending elements of auto exhibitions, camping festivals, and rock concerts. These gatherings, often organized by van clubs, featured custom design competitions, light shows, and live music. The National Truck-In, first held in 1973, became the premier event for the community, drawing thousands of attendees and hundreds of elaborately customized vans. Judges awarded trophies for categories like Best Paint, Wildest Interior, and Best Engine Bay. These events fostered a strong sense of camaraderie and subcultural identity among van owners, who saw themselves as part of a movement rather than a mere automotive trend. Magazines such as Truckin', Hot Rod Vans, and Custom Vans and Pickups chronicled this explosion, showcasing van builders, publishing how-to guides, and promoting the latest parts and accessories. These publications were instrumental in connecting enthusiasts across the country and legitimizing van customization as a recognized branch of American car culture. By mid-decade, custom vans graced magazine covers, television shows, and even movies, becoming emblems of the 1970s bold visual style and hedonistic spirit. By the end of the decade, the custom van industry had achieved what few grassroots automotive movements ever did. It bridged the gap between counterculture and commerce. The creativity of independent garages inspired mass production of accessories and even influenced factory design, as automakers began offering custom appearance packages directly from dealerships. Though the craze would eventually fade in the 1980s, replaced by minivans and more practical family vehicles, its legacy remained profound. The aesthetic, eye candy on wheels. The custom van craze of the 1970s was as much about style as it was about substance, a rolling art form that reflected the decade's fascination with excess, color, and self-expression. What set the custom van apart from other automotive trends of the era was its audacious aesthetic. Every inch of the vehicle, from its chrome-plated bumpers to its shag-carpeted ceiling, was a declaration of personality. These vans weren't built for speed or status. They were built to be seen. In an era defined by disco, psychedelia, and the sexual revolution, the van became the perfect blank canvas for creativity, a traveling blend of fantasy, rebellion, and interior design indulgence. Exterior design, airbrush dreams, and chrome fantasy. On the outside, the custom van was a mobile art gallery. The 1970s aesthetic prized boldness and individuality, and van owners transformed their vehicles into moving masterpieces. One of the defining features of the trend was airbrushed mural art, which turned flat metal panels into canvases for elaborate scenes. These murals often depicted fantasy and science fiction imagery: wizards casting spells, dragons breathing fire, knights in battle, or scenes of cosmic exploration inspired by the space race and films like Star Wars and heavy metal. Others leaned toward pinup art and erotic imagery, with scantily clad figures painted in vibrant hues, capturing the decade's liberated attitude toward sexuality. The painting techniques themselves were technically advanced for their time. Customizers used metallic flake paint, candy finishes, and multi-layer clear coats to achieve depth and iridescence under sunlight. The term candy referred to translucent color layers sprayed over metallic bases, creating a shimmering, wet glass effect that became synonymous with custom vans and hot rods alike. Artists like George Barris and Dean Jeffries popularized these methods, and by mid-decade, regional specialists were producing show-quality paint jobs that rivaled fine art. Beyond the paintwork, every detail of the van's exterior was customized for flair. Racing stripes, chrome bumpers, and wheel flares emphasized the van's stance, while Krager mag wheels and raised rear suspensions gave them a muscular street cruiser look. Bubble windows, often made of tinted acrylic and installed on the rear panels, became iconic visual signatures, suggesting mystery and privacy while adding a futuristic aesthetic. Similarly, roof vents, spoilers, and side exhaust pipes were both functional and decorative, enhancing ventilation, aerodynamics, and sound while contributing to its overall showy presence. Customizers also used fiberglass kits to modify front ends, adding flared noses or extended grills that gave vans a more aggressive or aerodynamic silhouette. Chrome side pipes, often sourced from aftermarket suppliers like Thrush or Hooker headers, not only looked powerful, but amplified the engine's growl, making the van sound as intimidating as it looked. The result was a perfect harmony of form and function, a vehicle designed to capture attention, embodying the loud, unapologetic confidence of 1970s American culture. Interior design, the shag carpeted sanctuary. If the outside of the van expressed attitude, the interior revealed fantasy. The 1970s custom van interiors were often described as rolling bedrooms or private lounges on wheels, filled with lush textures, ambient lighting, and creative layouts that mirrored the decade's most decadent design trends. Shag carpeting in hues of orange, brown, or deep red was the dominant material, covering not just the floor, but walls and ceilings for insulation and visual impact. Many van owners built mirrored ceilings, fold-out beds, and even water beds, creating a hybrid space between a home and a nightclub. Mood lighting, often achieved through neon tubes, rope lights, or colored bulbs, cast a warm glow over the interiors, amplifying the sense of intimacy and escape. It wasn't uncommon to find built-in bars with mini refrigerators, liquor cabinets, and glass holders, a reflection of the era's hedonistic leisure culture. Entertainment was equally essential. Vans frequently featured high-powered stereo systems with 8-track players, amplifiers, and multiple speakers mounted into the walls. Music, after all, was central to the van lifestyle, whether it was Led Zeppelin blasting through the desert or the Bee Gees setting the tone at a weekend van rally. Some enthusiasts installed televisions or CB radios, blending luxury with utility. The CB, or Citizens Van Radio, became a cultural icon of its own, symbolizing freedom on the open road and connection among the van community. Interior customization often reflected specific themes, turning the van into a self-contained fantasy world. The medieval dungeon style was popular, with faux stone paneling, wrought iron fixtures, and torch-style lamps evoking a castle-like mood. Others opted for space-age lounges featuring metallic surfaces, fiber optic lights, and chrome accents inspired by the sci-fi boom of the 1970s. Still, others recreated disco dens, complete with mirrored tiles, strobe lights, and vibrant upholstery that captured the nightclub energy of the era. Each van was a unique expression of its owner's imagination, a creative escape from the conformity of suburban life. Built to turn heads, the art of physical modification. No aspect of the 1970s van craze was more distinctive than its outrageous physical modifications. Customizers pushed creativity to the limits, transforming plain cargo vans into wild, rolling sculptures. Exterior alterations often began with flared fenders and custom wheel wells to fit oversized Krager SS or Anson Sprint Mag wheels wrapped in fat BF Goodrich Radial TA tires. Chrome side pipes became a staple for both looks and sound, while bubble windows, portholes, and heart or diamond-shaped cutouts gave vans their unmistakable profiles. Roof scoops, spoilers, and sunroofs added flash, while metallic flake and candy-colored paint jobs caught every ray of sunlight. Many owners even incorporated gull-wing side doors or hand-formed fiberglass body kits to create one-of-a-kind silhouettes. Inside, the modifications were equally bold: swivel captain's chairs, plush shag carpeting, velvet upholstery, and mood lighting turned these vehicles into mobile lounges. Every detail, from the tire lettering to the window shape, reflected its owner's personality. Whether parked at a Van Inn or cruising the Strip on a Saturday night, these machines were kinetic art, bold statements of individuality that captured the color, excess, and creative freedom that defined the 1970s custom van explosion. Rolling art meets cultural expression. The aesthetic of the custom van was more than decoration. It was a reflection of 1970s cultural psychology. America was emerging from the turbulence of the 1960s, and young people were searching for freedom, identity, and pleasure. The van offered all three: a personal space that could travel anywhere, outside the reach of social expectations. The lush interiors symbolized comfort and self-indulgence, while the flamboyant exteriors screamed individuality. In many ways, the van paralleled the fashion and music of its time: loud, experimental, and proudly self-made. The van also became intertwined with sexual liberation, a hallmark of the decade. The slogan, "If the van's a rockin', don't come a knockin'," wasn't just a joke. It embodied the idea of private freedom and youthful hedonism. The intimate interiors turned vans into both literal and symbolic spaces of desire, the love dens of the open road. At car shows and van-ins, aesthetics reigned supreme. Competitions for best paint, wildest interior, and most original theme became central attractions, with judges rewarding innovation and craftsmanship. Some owners invested thousands of dollars in countless hours, producing vans that blurred the line between transportation and art installation. The 1970s custom van movement wasn't just about the vehicles. It was a full-fledged cultural scene built around community, creativity, and shared identity. By the mid-1970s, van-ins and truck-ins, massive gatherings of vanners began popping up across the United States. These events, often held at fairgrounds or campgrounds, blended car shows with music festivals, complete with light shows, rock bands, and contests for the best paint, interior, and overall design. The National Street Van Association, or NSVA, founded in 1973, helped to organize and legitimize these meetups, while magazines like Truckin' and Custom Vans and Pickups covered them extensively, giving rise to van celebrities and regional heroes of customization. Van clubs flourished nationwide. Groups like Midwest Vans, California Street Vans, and Lone Star Vans brought together enthusiasts who shared tools, techniques, and road stories. These gatherings weren't just exhibitions. They embodied the spirit of 1970s independence, sexuality, and community. Vanners proudly lived out the decade's ideals of personal freedom and rebellion, camping, cruising, and partying under one banner: life on the road. Media, music, and the mainstream moment. By the mid-1970s, custom van culture had entered the mainstream, fueled by media coverage and pop entertainment. Magazines like Truckin', Hot Rod Vans, and Custom Vans and Pickups celebrated the creativity of van builders, offering technical tips, paint ideas, and coverage of van-ins across the country. Hollywood and television amplified the craze. Films such as The Van in 1977, Corvette Summer in 1978, and Viva Knievel in 1977 portrayed custom vans as symbols of youth, freedom, and sexual adventure. Rock and roll and FM radio culture also played a defining role, as vans became mobile sanctuaries for sound systems, parties, and romance, extensions of the countercultural spirit that had shaped the decade. Meanwhile, van clubs like the National Street Van Association and regional vanners groups fostered a sense of community, hosting rallies, cruises, and design contests. By 1976, major cities from California to Michigan were holding van shows that drew thousands. The custom van wasn't just transportation anymore. It had become a lifestyle, an identity, a reflection of America's loud, liberated, and endlessly creative 1970s spirit. Sex freedom and the American road. By the mid-1970s, the custom van had become an icon of sexual freedom and personal liberation, a product of America's post-Summer of Love hedonism. It offered what few vehicles could: a private, mobile sanctuary where intimacy, adventure, and rebellion merged. Slogans like "If this van's a rockin', don't come a-knockin'" and "Risque decals" mirrored the decade's playful eroticism, while murals featuring pinup girls, satin interiors, and mood lighting turned vans into rolling love dens. This sensuality was intertwined with a deeper social current: the rejection of conformity, corporate life, and suburban restraint. In an age defined by anti-establishment values and personal pleasure, the van symbolized both literal and emotional escape. For many young Americans, it wasn't just transportation, it was freedom on four wheels, an expression of autonomy, and a space to live by one's own rules amid the open highways of 1970s America. The decline of the craze. By the early 1980s, the custom van phenomenon had run its course. The 1979 oil crisis and rising fuel prices made full-size vans, often powered by thirsty V8 engines, increasingly impractical. At the same time, compact imports in the emerging minivan market offered cheaper, more efficient alternatives. The flamboyant aesthetics that once defined the movement, shag carpets, chrome pipes, and airbrush murals, came to be seen as symbols of 1970s excess and kitsch. As insurance rates climbed and automakers shifted focus toward family-oriented minivans and SUVs, custom van culture retreated from the mainstream. What remained was a passionate niche of enthusiasts, preserving the legacy of an era where America's roads were ruled by color, freedom, and rolling self-expression. But what do you think? Would you have joined the custom van craze back then? Share your thoughts in the comments.